Welcome to episode number 5 in the podcast series of Project Blokes. You got your host here, Jordan. We've got Noah Kuhn checking in with the boys. Kuhn. Noah Kuhn. Sorry, Noah, my bad, brother.
You're right, bro, you're
and
right.
our celebrity for this podcast is Dimitri Kondilis, Rockhampton's Mr. Rockhampton, the Rockhampton icon, Mr. Businessman of Rockhampton.
Anything else?
Model, Adonis. Man, he is a Greek god, this guy. Anywho, enough of the shit talk. Welcome, Dimmy. How are you?
Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Don't know how much of that's true, but we'll see what goes on.
Most of it's true. And like I said, this isn't the first time for you, Noah, on podcast with us.
In a kind of a host standpoint, it would be.
Yep.
I mean, not the interviewee. I'm the interviewer, as you would say. But besides that, man, it's the second time on the potty, and I'm keen to get amongst it.
Yeah. So we've got Noah on. Noah's our creative executive,
Creative producer.
There you go. He likes to have his name for what he does.
Yeah.
Project Bloke. So
100%.
that's Noah's role. But anyway, we'll get kicking. Jed's not with us today. He's off gallivanting around down in Brisbane, living it up.
I am the Jed.
So g'day to you, Jed. I'm sure you'll be listening into this one. So we'll start off with Demi. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you grew up, bit of your family heritage, bit of a background.
Yeah, so I'm a Rocky boy, born and bred. Been here most of my life. Just had a short spell in Brisbane for a bit of uni, and then obviously come back to work here full time.
What were you studying in uni?
Financial planning. So I started with. I didn't know what I was going to do after school. Obviously, just went to uni, done a bachelor degree in business. It was very broad, and then second year kind of just fell into the specialised field. It was pretty new, there's not many people doing it at uni.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably like the youngest in the class by 10 years.
Yep.
Wow.
I was just like, 19-year-old, just
Yep.
learning about super insurance and how to invest money, and I probably failed a few subjects, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
A lot, because I didn't know what I was doing at all.
What was like a driving feature behind that pick? Like, I mean, you've done business. You could have picked any avenue, circumferencing business.
Yeah.
But what kind of made you go for that out of the ordinary subject in a sense?
Yeah, okay. I think it just it centers around just helping someone, and that just seems a bit airy-fairy. But in this profession, you really do. The skills behind the scenes, and it's just all about showing people the way.
Yep.
So I guess getting financial planning advice, you can actually really make a big difference to someone's situation, like now, 5 years time, 10 years time. And, you can, you can't make them rich overnight, but you can put the steps in play. And you can get some people out of some really deep shit.
Yep.
And that just really, that makes me happy that I can make a difference to someone's life.
Yep.
And naturally growing up in a family of business owners, and my granddad used to develop property for a living.
Yep.
Whilst cutting hair. It was just always just family dinners and lunches or whatever, special occasions. It was just always centered around what you're doing with your money. Are you wasting money? And it's just focused on that. And I guess at uni, it kind of put those concepts that I was always brought up talking about into, decent
fruition.
steps. Yeah.
Do you think growing up around that and learning a lot and hearing a lot from your family helped you through uni? Like, it kind of gave you a bit of a kickstart? Like, you had some idea, or was uni completely different? Like, you were just mind-blown because you learnt so much. Obviously, you learnt so much more, but you learnt different ways than what you were kind of taught growing up. Like, was there?
Yeah, for sure. I guess typical, how can I say it?
Greek family?
A Greek family, honestly, you have Asian family, Greek family, coming over from a foreign country, coming to a foreign country, all you kind of know is start a business, invest in property, and don't spend your money.
So your grandfather come over to Australia?
Yeah.
And he pretty much come with nothing.
No, he just came with a suitcase and a pair of clippers and scissors.
There you go. So he's built himself up from the
Yeah.
ground.
And like, you know, I guess financial planning now, it's like exploring all your other options. Like, I guess coming from your background, you only grew up with one option.
Yep.
And now, I guess in my profession, there's many options.
Yep.
And now, you know, like, you know, you put your money into super, you basically save into some shares, you basically start company structures, you know, to save tax.
Yep.
You know, it's just, there's so many options now, and even with the rise of digital assets such as crypto, there's even more options out there.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like there's been so much growth around what you do in like the last current years, just through like younger people wanting to start businesses, wanting to better themselves, wanting money. And, you know, obviously because they do see all these people online that are achieving greatness and are making money or are showing that they're making money through social media, they want to live that life. So I guess, you know, money is a massive thing in the world, always has been, but even more so now. And a lot of the younger generation and even like my generation, like money's a bit of a trigger point because a lot of us never knew how to handle it and struggle with money. So it's a big stress. So yeah, like definitely, like, do you think that your job, like it's created a lot more work and then a lot more avenues for you?
Yeah, for sure. But like now it's like the rise of gratification after half an hour, kind of thing, like get rich quick, crypto goes up to the moon whatever they say, overnight, instant millionaire. People put a video up, get so many likes, get so many ads from it, instant. But we kind of stick to our foundations, our traditions in this profession, and we say the longer it takes, the longer it lasts.
Yep.
There's no come fly by, get rich quick schemes here, because it's kind of building those solid foundations.
Yep.
So
that I kind of look at.
A question I have is, obviously the men in your life have been strong figures. Like for your grandfather to come over to a foreign country, I'm sure he spoke hardly any English, and to live the life he has with the success he has, and also your father as well. What has that kind of instilled in you and your values? Like, are you still in a sense a traditional man, or are you adapting it? Are you working with it in yourself?
Yeah, I think the stubbornness has fully set in. Like, it's always just stuck to tradition. Like, tradition, heritage is a massive thing for me.
Yep.
And, even adapting to new ways of doing things in this digital age of investments, or, trying to do things and better yourselves. I haven't really tried to experiment too much.
Yep.
Because coming from a traditional family and such a traditional job, it's kind of hard for me to try and step out.
Yep. Is that some of your goals in the future, but is to learn?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because after I've been advising now for going on 8 years now, starting in the industry 11 years, I've started to know my craft, as you say it now, and once you just get out of that traditional box and look out of what options there are, your actual possibilities just open up.
Yeah, especially with Gen 3, like Web 3 coming along, because we're moving out of Web 2 into Web 3 with the metaverse and everything that's been announced recently. I feel like your job might even come into more fruition, and there might be more opportunities that are coming with all this money that people are starting to come across.
Yeah, I know, like, there's crazy money, and like, don't even ask me anything about the metaverse, because I just shake my head and put my head in the sand. Yeah. But obviously I'm a kind of guy that just wants to see and touch something, and if I want to buy a house, I want to touch a wall or something. I just can't get a grip of what's happening out there. Yeah. The fundamentals, is very different. Like, if you buy a share, there's something behind it. Yep. If you buy a property, you can see it. You can actually put someone in there to rent. You can basically add some rooms on. But when you buy something that's not very tangible, it's totally different. And obviously there's room for this to fit into our scope. Like obviously, traditional advice is just invest, property, super, shares, business, but these new assets are coming into our scope. Just like, and like I put it as like doctors, like years ago, they only looked at limited things, but as I guess technology and research evolves, they start widening their scope a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
it's all for the better, I think.
Just to touch a little bit on that, so someone out there wanting to get involved in the investing game, or just wanting to know what to do with their money, like what's some basic strategies that you suggest for people who are starting out, who are beginners, who don't really know what they're doing, like.
Yeah,
where do you suggest they kind of go to? Where do you suggest they should like kind of spend their money?
I have to touch on this. It's so hard now to find something, because you type in Google, there's so much white noise around everywhere. Like you type in Google something you want to find out, and like 50 pages comes up. Where's the best place to put my money? Where's the best place to save? Like, how to start a business. Everyone has an opinion now.
Yeah, definitely.
Even the random guy that has just set up his Instagram account to preach about, even someone who has just a profession totally different to investment markets is preaching about how to get rich overnight.
Oh, 100%.
So there's so much information out there, and I guess we've come into effect that you just need to go and see someone and put everything on the table, just nice and simple. And like, people don't need financial planners. You have to want one.
That's right. Yep.
So just stick to the fundamentals. Like, know where your money goes. Save a bit.
Buy a house if possible.
Yeah, like, start with a house. But like, get the emergency fund building up. Like, just get cash on the, not cash, but savings.
Yep.
Rainy day. Yeah.
Yeah, just rainy day account. Build that up, because at the end of the day, you can put all your money into owning a home, but as soon as an aircon breaks, or as soon as something just goes wrong with the house, you have to find money to fix it.
Yeah, 100%. That is a big one.
Yeah,
and that's when the credit card comes out. That's when the personal loans come out, and that's when you start going backwards. So just fundamentals. Before you do anything, just save, just pool of cash, and then work out your goals.
Yep.
Right, and just don't put something in just for like a overnight investment. Like, you have to plan these buckets for the long term.
And I guess in saying that too, living as debt free as possible. So live within your means.
Yeah.
Don't go out and spend money that you don't have, or buy a house that you aren't going to be able to pay off.
The biggest killer is getting a home that is like too expensive for what your repayments are, straight up. Yep. You start a job, you get a job, and then you get a job with after finishing uni, or get an apprenticeship, or just out of school, you're making good money, and then you enter into $700,000 home. Now I'm talking about Rocky and your poon here. Otherwise, if it applies down south, you probably have to do that. Yep. But even here, like, it's cost of living. Like, if you fill the cup up straight away from day one, there's nothing else to fill. Like, you can't go traveling, you can't go saving for something else you want, you can't go investing extra money. You're busting your ass to pay off that one home.
So yeah, and that's where a lot of this mental health comes into fruition as well. That's where you fill that cup too early at too young of an age. You're locked. You can't move in that situation. Like you said, you can't go on holidays. You can't go anywhere. You can't enjoy life with all its fruits. You're stuck, and then down the track it leads into some pretty dark and miserable places. And
I've seen that. I've seen that people. And obviously we have offices right around Queensland. Yep. I look after the office in Moranbah. I go out there once a month.
Just to interrupt you, so just a bit of plug on who you work for.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So you said you're obviously in the financial division as a financial planner. You go out to Moranbah and whatnot. So who are you working for?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a local company by the name of Soundbridge Financial Planning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it started off in Rocky with a group of partners, and then they started bringing on new staff
Yep.
and started expanding. So I started about 8 years ago now.
Yep.
There, and so we were out on Gladstone Road.
Yep.
In Rocky, and then we expanded to our Riverfront location 6 years ago at the old Rockhampton club, and then from there, I guess the partners started buying up, businesses and trying to expand their
Portfolio.
Well, expand their dream of servicing most of Australia, because obviously the advice we give is amazing, good quality, and we want to share it with as much people as possible. So it went from Rockhampton, then they went to Gladstone, and then Mackay, and then Sunshine Coast.
So anyone can apply, like anyone can go see you guys. It's not tailored to any sort of community or anything like that.
Ideally, we have a certain client,
model.
You say
Yeah.
and it is pre-retirees.
Yep.
Right. So that's our niche market, right? Because we obviously can basically make a massive difference with the more money you have, the more money we can make and save and whatnot through structures and taxes.
Yep.
But our offering has expanded since bringing on newer and basically younger advisors.
Yeah, and obviously through that, like you said, the younger generation are starting to want to make their money work for them.
Yeah, well,
traditionally
financial planning was just if you had money, that's when we can service you, and not much has changed. Ideally, you want to attract someone with money, so you can do more things for them. But now we're getting on these. You have to get someone while they're young.
Yep.
So if you teach them how to save, teach them how to budget, the wealth will build up, and you have to look at the opportunity cost of if they started 10 years ago rather than 2 years ago, what is the difference? And it's a massive difference.
Yep. So now you obviously, like you're saying, your niche has kind of changed, and you're targeting all audiences kind of thing.
Yeah, I get people as soon as they enter their apprenticeship or finish uni, they come in and we just, free of charge, just set some foundation general advice.
Yep.
Stick to a budget, set up the emergency funds.
Yep.
Save for your first home because there's stuff out there, home or shares or investments stuff. You know what? Really, if you save for that first home, something remarkable happens. Equity goes up. Depends if you buy smartly, so the value of the home goes up. Over time, you bust your ass and make the debt go down, and you build up equity. From the equity, then you move on to the next one.
Passive income.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you can put that equity into the next investment property or
house or shares.
So just get the foundations right. And I guess I pride myself in getting people incubated in the fact that I'll lead you to the water now, start drinking kind of thing.
Yep. You just point them in that direction and then let them go for it a bit. And you're just kind of like that soundboard, and you look over things, and where they need to be directed, you kind of give that direction. So you kind of like, you're that support that people need, and a lot of people obviously do need it with their money. Yeah. So that's great. So just going back to speaking about Moranbah, what brings you to Moranbah? Like, what's out there? Is it mining?
Definitely mining.
Yep.
A bit of farming.
Yep.
As well, but obviously the business was built traditionally on servicing the West.
Yep.
So we've a lot of mining companies approach us to go and give talks out there.
Yep.
To how to better manage people's like taxes and supers and incomes and where to put their money, because mining is amazing, but the general consensus I get from my clients is we're here for a reason. We're here to make money.
Yep.
For our families and do something with it. And for some clients, they try and do the right thing. They buy a home, but they buy it in the wrong time. And in Moranbah, especially, I have clients that bought for $600,000 and the home's worth $2 now. And the mental stress that comes with that is just incredible. Because they go to working for the bank.
Yeah.
Like, they can't look in the mirror and say, I'm going to work to save up for a holiday or, get the car I want or, start doing something with my life.
And for myself.
No, it's never for themselves, because if you owe money to the bank, you're just working and you have to, I see marriage breakups. I see all kinds of things.
So you see a lot of
all from money.
A lot of stigma around mining out west and money. Like there's a massive stigma around that with their mental health. Like there's lots of issues.
If you enter mining with a plan, and come out of it, you will be one rich person.
100%.
But the more money you make, the more money you spend, and that's what I see out there. And don't get me wrong, debt's a very bad thing. It keeps you awake at night. But we teach people how to use debt smartly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you have a subcontractor that took out a loan for their car, we'll show them how to write it off. You know, legally, because they're making money from having that car. They're going to mine sites and they're going to businesses. We show people making money how to have an investment loan, because that's all tax deduct. You know, because the most demoralizing thing is, especially for high income earners, you know, miners, they go to work and half their money. Well, if you're above 230, or half their money goes to tax. We all know someone whinging about how much tax they pay. Accountants aren't going to help you. No disrespect to the accountants, but they just tell you how much you have to pay. We actually tell you how to put your money away smartly, so you can basically minimize how much tax you pay and basically make it work better for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been caught in that trap before, like the stresses of business and money, and not knowing what to do with my money, not knowing where to go. Not even knowing who I should ask for help with. So, like, I definitely firsthand know what that's like. The stresses around it, the stresses around tax, and, you know, you just work and next minute you ask your accountant, how am I doing? Yeah, you're all right. Next minute you get smashed with this BAS bill, you get smashed with the tax bill.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the? I thought I'm going well. Next minute half your savings is gone because you're paying it back into tax because you're not letting your money go to work for you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. And it's hard to see who to turn to. Like,
that's the hardest thing.
You have tax, you have a mortgage, you want to refinance your loan, you want to sell your home. Like, I really pride myself into being a project manager for someone, because I guess I'm lucky to have a vast network around CQ. Family being here for so long that if you need a real estate agent, I'll refer you one. If you need an accountant, I'll get you in. If you need someone to get you a loan, I know one. Like, most advisors just stick to what they know, and they just look at, you know, for someone young, the boring super fund. Someone under 35, even 40, doesn't want to know about their super. They want to know, how can I get in a home? How can I save for a business? How can I start investing money now?
100%.
So it really does annoy me when, like, you typically in the past, young guys have gone to a financial planner and they've just been ripped off because they've got something they didn't even want.
And they have no idea about any of what they're going to. They're hoping to get support from someone, and, you know, I guess that end of the bargain hasn't always been lived up to, or they've asked for advice in other areas and they haven't been directed correctly.
Yeah. Yep.
So is there any advice that you have for, you know, 20, 19, 18 young boys coming into the apprenticeships around Rocky and, you know, around Australia basically? Is there any, like, short-term advice if they're looking to get into this type of field and get in contact with you? Is it like a, you know, have 6 months where you buy what you want to buy and do what you want to do, and then...
Oh, for sure. As soon as you come into money, like, honestly, go for it.
Yep.
Just go spend.
Yep.
But, like, nothing too stupid.
Reasonably, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, get it out of your system.
Yep.
And then put some goals into place and say, hey, I want to do this by a certain time, and so forth, you know.
Yep.
And another thing is, stop comparing yourself to the TikTok guy or the Instagram guy, because be your own... I guess be your own kind of
person in a sense.
Yeah. Like, stick stick to it. Like, stop looking at other people's with the Ferraris and say shit off to take out 6 like house loans to try and pick the market, because that's, you know, one way to go broke. Like,
see, that's the issue with social media that I find is, especially like, I'm 21. Like, I mean, you boys are young, but I come up in that second generation after yous.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard, man. Like, you sit here on your phone and you see on Facebook, you see on Instagram, you see on Twitter, everyone's succeeding. Like, you see these people preaching knowledge, how they're rich overnight or they're rich in such a short period of time, and it makes you kind of feel, it builds your anxiety and your self-conscious in a sense, and you go, shit, okay, I need to have the flashes car. I need to get a loan out for a 2022 Hilux. I need to apply for a house straight away. I need to get this loan to have this bike and this watch and these shoes and this shirt and this phone. It kind of sets you up for failure straight off the rip.
Yeah, man. And like you said, saying like, you know, half these guys, you don't know really what's going on behind the closed doors too. What they're showing you might necessarily be the life they are living. They're probably not happy. Well, they are happy to an extent, but then, like Dim said before, they're stuck. They're trapped. They're trapped in paying these off. So yeah, all they're doing is sitting trolling Facebook, Instagram,
money is
and
only
they can't do much else.
It's so depressing. It, like, you know, here's someone that's like trying to build themselves up. They're sticking to their goals. They're treading their own path. They're doing the best they can, and all of a sudden, at night they lay awake looking at someone else's success, and it is depressing. And that's where the bad decisions start coming.
Yeah, you decide to get out the 70 grand loan with a high interest. Like,
but that's when the bad investment decisions start happening. They're going, shit, I'm behind. Oh, I should go and get out a loan to invest in crypto because everyone else is getting rich, or invest in these shares straight away without properly seeing what your goals are.
And that's right. If you don't have direction, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have goals, if your values don't align with these things, well, you know, if you're lost, like, unless you put your money, like you said, to work, you make the money work for you, you have goals for that money, you have a purpose, then you can achieve these things. But without having that, well, you don't know where you're going, really. You got no direction.
And like, I guess my biggest advice is get your foundations built first, and then with whatever money you have then surplus, go for it. If you have money to burn and you want to lose it, that's called speculative advice. And we just say, well, okay, you've got your foundations sorted now. What's next? Start a passive investment portfolio, which is an investment property or share portfolio, nice and traditional. Then go to the speckies now. Yeah,
then try that. Yeah,
because you have always something to fall back on. You always have you go back to your own home that you can sell or rent out.
Worst comes to worst, you've got that.
Like, you know, there's many articles, but I've found if you want a strong base, have your own home, because at the end of the day, if shit goes pear shaped, you can always sell it. If you want to go traveling, you can rent it out.
Yeah.
And it's paying itself off.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if you buy smartly, the value of the home will go up.
Yeah.
And that's where you take the next step.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've always been taught. Like, have a roof over your head, but not at the detriment of your cash flow. Don't fill the cup up too much. Because you see the people with 700 grand homes from their first job, and they're still paying it off. Where you get someone with a 250 grand home and they have 3 of them now.
Yep.
It's all about the opportunity cost of where you start and where you want to go.
So just a question around, if someone out there is struggling with their money and they're, you know, in a shit place, I guess you could say, what's some advice you could give to those guys to kind of dig themselves out of that little bit of a debt pit, or, you know, just a struggle in life? Like, what should they do? What should they pay certain things off first? What do you think that they should do?
Well, first and foremost, go and see someone. Even if you don't know who to see, just like, you know, just book in with the financial planner. I don't care, it's me. Just go and see someone, because we'll help. Like, nothing's better than a personal touch.
That's right.
And like, if you look in someone in the eye and say, just help me, you can't do that to a computer screen. Because what they'll do is you type in, where do I go? And the computer screen will give you back fucking 50 pages of random advice. Like, just go see someone. And then, I guess, with debt, and it's hard. Like, if you're drowning in debt, it's called a debt snowball strategy. So you start off with the smallest one, because self-gratification is the biggest thing that helps you with motivation. If you kill off the smallest debt, I don't care if it's like $2, like you know, to be realistic, you know, a small
$1,000 debt.
Yeah, you hit that off once, you will have motivation to hit off the second one, and something unique happens. The repayments you were putting towards the $1,000, you know, the smaller debt, it goes on to the second beat, you know,
the next payment,
like the next one, and then once you hit that, now you have 2 repayments going on to the third one.
And then once the third one's done, you have all this money that you're then
by the
saving.
time you're hitting that 30 grand personal loan that's never been able to shake, you have all this spare money. You just pump off that loan. You have cash flow again. Cash flow means motivation. Like, I've seen so many people down and out because they're busting their ass to literally go to work, and they're making all this, they're working on the week, on weekends.
Yep.
They're trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
But it's just going as like a merry-go-round. Once you have cash flow, your motivation will go sky high. And I found this, once your savings account builds up, that's when the motivation really kicks in.
100%, I feel that as well, man. I mean, when I was a young fella, I kind of made some bad decisions, got a car loan as soon as I, got my P's and all that, the typical thing. And it was like $7.5 grand, man. And
that's actually not bad though.
Yeah. But it was in a sense because I started to neglect it. I was wasting my money on other things and other means.
Yep.
And I mean, I was paying it off, but I wasn't, in my head, I was going to pay more off over time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I only just finished paying it off end of last year. But when I kind of got that last check and that last payment went off, in my mind, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Here's $255 a week that I can just...
That's how you have to think. Yep.
Yeah, and then there's $250 that I split. One goes to the savings, one goes to my, like holidays or something like that. And you start, the gratification in your mind, like you're saying, it clicks and it kind of makes you look at it from a whole different aspect and a whole different field. Like,
so yeah, what I'm pretty much getting from that is put a plan in place, stick to it, and watch that plan go, and there'll be positives from it, kind of thing. Like, if you stick to your plan, you have a goal, and you set that and you stick to it, at the end of the day, there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. Like,
yeah, and make it realistic. Like don't say, I'm going to save $1 million in 2 years. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you're a heart surgeon, you could.
yeah.
No, but
Literally,
honestly, anyone could do it. But it just have to be real and
Live
say,
within
well,
your means, yeah.
I will do it, but it will take longer than what someone else would.
Yeah. Yep.
And just with the goals, like there's this, just break it down so simple. There's 3 main goals: short-term goal, medium-term goal, long-term goal. And this is how you actually invest money. If your goal is short-term, that means you put it into cash because you need to access that in like 1 or 2 years. If you put that earmarked money in shares 1 and 2 years, that will just be fluctuating.
Yeah.
You want to put money you want to save in a home, like 1 or 2 years, that home value is down.
Yeah.
And then you have a medium-term pot of money where, to be honest, you can't touch it for 5 years. So that's when you could go, okay, I could probably put it into some shares because in 5 years' time, I need it. And then your long-term goals, that's kind of like, well, I'm not going to be touching this for bloody 15 or 20 years. So that's when super comes into it. That's when a block of land, a specky block of land comes into it. That's when a property comes into it.
Yep.
So you have to know where each investment sits. And now I've found it's very mixed. Like people that want to save a quick buck, their short-term goals, they're trying to pick the market with these, some people do it. Amazingly, but
That's the thing, some.
It's luck.
Yeah.
like
Bit of
look
it's
at
luck.
shares and crypto now. Like if your goal was to save for a home in the next 18 months and you've put your savings into the crypto markets, the share markets right now, you're waiting another year or 2 years or 3 years before they rebound back to what you've put in.
Yep.
And there goes your short-term goal.
That's right. Yep.
Whereas if you're stuck to the fundamentals of, okay, let's build cash savings, you get into your home first, who cares what other people are doing? Stick to what you want to do.
Yep.
See, man, I just want to ask a quick question. Like, I mean, you're playing soccer right now, yeah?
Actually, not this year. I'm taking 31. I can feel the effects of the knees. Yeah.
Yeah. So preach a bit about that. I mean, was that a thing growing up? That's always been something that surrounded you.
Yeah, it was more on my mum's side. Actually, dad's side's always been about, I guess, powerlifting and gym.
Yep.
Mum's side was sort of crazy. So I started when I was 7 years old.
Yep.
So what? 30. So what's that? 23 years of playing soccer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
and it's just been
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to ask. Was that like something growing up that you resonated with? Is that something that kind of got you through some hard times that you suffered from?
Oh,
or?
for sure. Like, you know, like if you have a bad week, you have a bad day, you always look forward to the training session.
Yep.
You always look forward to the games.
Yep.
Because, you know, some people can contest. I don't probably do it often than I should, but once you score a goal in soccer, it's like a
Shot of adrenaline.
yeah, it's like a drug. Like, yeah,
Those endorphins, mate.
like
Fire through.
you sort of keep doing it, and it keeps you motivated.
Yep.
And yeah, sport really, because I've always been active through my life, whether it's soccer or gym.
Yep.
I was fortunate to get my black belt when I was year 10
What was that in?
in Taekwondo.
Yeah, copy.
So that really cemented some discipline.
I was going to say that discipline around Taekwondo would be unreal. You know, that would have cemented a lot of that
yeah.
for you as well. And like you said, around the soccer would be your mateship too. Like a lot of your mates you've got are through soccer and through sport. And
Oh, most
you
of
know-
my connections are through sport. Like,
Yep.
you know, no matter what club I've played for, played for like 3 around.
every club in Rocky.
No, I haven't.
Every club in Rocky. Oh, no, Sean
Ja-
Jasperson.
Just the ones that.
That's
pay me well.
Jaspo. Every club in Rocky.
Yeah, Jasper's on his 6th club or
Yeah,
something.
he would be.
Yeah, it's just having that group of people around you. Like,
Yep.
even if it's like you play chess, like as long as there's people in the room you can just talk to and just
Mhm.
enjoy. Like you can't be in your room thinking about your hard times because you need a release.
Mhm.
And for sport, that was it.
Yeah. So, obviously, you know Geordie for a long time.
Yeah, how long have I known you?
Man, probably around that age group.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
I'm older than you. I'm
yeah.
89. But
I've probably known Geordie since he was 7 years old.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
cool.
Dimmy's dad or family owned the units next door to my parents' house.
Yeah, and I
okay.
was there every
Mowing
weekend,
the
or
lawn.
most weekends, mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Shirt off, even from a young age,
Oh,
six pack ripped up, oiled up body. And then and then I'd see you at the gym.
Yeah, I
Uni
used
gym.
I used to sneak away from mowing lawns to go play with the next door neighbour, who was Jordan,
Yeah.
and we used to go throw rocks at like neighbours' roofs or something,
Something like that.
and
Yeah,
then
right.
and then through the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then known your dad and family and Dimmy
Yeah.
for many years, man, and so yeah, that's how it kind of started for us.
Yeah, that's how it eventuated. Yeah.
And then obviously more connected then years later through other mates, and I don't play soccer, but just through going and watching you guys play soccer.
Like
I
probably
met-
every 6 months of my life, I've probably seen Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just you be my boyfriend if you want.
yeah, why not? On the side, don't tell anyone. But
Alright,
yeah,
tell the world.
we'll look at wrapping things up
Yeah,
in a
man,
second
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But there's not too many more questions I think I got for Dimmy. I just kind of wanted to bring him on, speak a little bit about finance, just mix things up.
Yep.
For any guys out there that are kind of in the money side of things or want a bit of support around money or want to hear a little spiel about some money and finance and direction and where Dimmy thinks the best way to go with things are. So, you know, the whole idea was to get him on just to plug a bit of that and give guys out there a little bit more info who are stuck or who are lost or, you know, who think that they want a bit more support or want to do something with their money instead of just sitting it in a bank account. So
if you're drowning in debt or don't know where to look, just just call in. Come have a coffee. Come have.
Yep.
We'll go have a beer at the Cry, just like next door.
and that's it. And that's what we try to promote around with Project Blokes is the whole stories, not stats thing. So as Dimmy's just said, get out there and chat to someone. Pick up the phone if you're struggling. Ring someone. Ring a financial advisor. If it's not Dimmy, there's plenty more around Rocky. Just call someone and ask a question, and for sure they'll help you out.
Yeah, just go to work for yourself. Just go to work. I don't, like you don't have to go work for yourself as a self-employed. But if you're going to work, you want to enjoy it. You want a purpose,
Yep.
and go there. Don't go to work to pay off a bill.
Mm.
Go to work to get something. Get somewhere.
Get something out of it. Don't work to get to the end of the week and be paying the bank.
Yeah.
Don't work for the man.
That's right.
Yeah.
And mind you, after my clients who have a plan in place, whatever money's spared, just do whatever you want with it. I don't care what you do with it.
Yeah.
As long as the fundamentals are behind the scenes, as long as these you get paid, then some direct debits go to what we're trying to achieve is met, go for it.
Yep.
Splurge, go. Just letting you know, we've hit the big smoke now. We've opened our office in Brisbane City. So we're
you'll be
as of January, Brisbane City once a month.
So you'll be down there once a month?
Once a month.
Right on the roost, eh?
For a week?
Is there some big? There's obviously big opposition down there as well that you'll be.
Oh, massive! There's big, big establishments down there. But you know, a few cousins down there, a few connections.
But that's good for you because that's another level for you. That's another level that you want to hit, and that's
of course,
you know.
to try and take on the Brisbane market's big, but
but you're capable. Look at what you have done in such a short period of time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely regional central Queensland. Well, central Queensland and the regions. Yeah, we're making some waves, and it just comes down to face values. Like, you know, it's not send me an email. It's like, well, come see me.
That's right.
Or it's like, I'll come see you this afternoon. Like, it's not like, send me an email, I'll get back to you. Well, let's Zoom. Like, I'd rather go see someone.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've noticed about you and I like as well is, you are keen. You're not all talk about saying that you'll come and see someone. You will make that time. You will catch up. You will say come in. And like that, you got that face value from people and, you know, you get that personal touch. And I think that's more important than sitting behind a keyboard or behind a phone and you know, giving people a spiel. Like, if you actually get out there in the community and actually talk to people, make people aware of who you are, you're going to create more contacts. You're going to create more people that are going to come in and speak to you. And at the end of the day, people say, oh, you know, you're a businessman, but you're also helping them out too. Like, it's not just about you. It's about what you're creating in this community.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you know, my big goal I really want to do is financial advice for professional athletes. Movie stars, athletes, you know, I think of all the parties, you know, all the perks. So who knows? Maybe a stint in London's coming up soon.
Yeah?
Who knows? Just watch this space.
See what happens.
Project Blokes in London. Project Blokes in London.
Yeah, we'll come over for a holiday with you.
Yeah.
100%.
But no, that's pretty much, I think, it for this potty. We'll
100%.
leave it at that. We appreciate you, Dim, for coming on. And
thank you, man.
Yeah, it was great. This is the second one. The last one we had troubles with audio.
No. The problem was I wasn't financially. What's the word? I wasn't financially right.
Oh, and then you went and seen Demi, and now you've got all this gear.
We have so much to claim now, brother.
I put my money in the right places. I started saving properly, and look where we are now.
Yep.
Bigger and better things on the way.
Your tax return would be some beefy tax.
Yeah, your shout. But now, all good, fellas. Well, cheers, Noah, for plugging in today.
Sure.
Cheers, Demi. Appreciate it. We will catch up again. So, yeah, any of you guys out there that want support, that need support, Demi's your man. Soundbridge, Rockhampton.
Moranbah, Brisbane.
Yep, all those places. Otherwise, hit Demi up on all socials.
100%.
Give him a follow anyway.
100%.
Sweet.
Thank
See
you,
guys.